Did you know that there's something called a blacklisted condo? Do you know what those are? Do you know where to find them? Do you know what happens if you actually get caught up in a blacklisted condo? Nobody will tell you what this list is because it's one of these secret lists that mortgage dealers, banks, and lenders, particularly the Canada Mortgage and Housing Insurance Corporation, will not tell us what's on that list. I actually called them to double check a couple of buildings, and they wouldn't even tell me what is on the list. So I had to do some sleuthing to kind of find out because I was helping somebody buy a condo in an area that has actually got three large buildings which are all blacklisted. So if you are out there spending your precious time looking and you see something that's an amazing price, you may want to think twice about whether or not you should get it. It may be actually on this blacklisted list. So you can actually reach out to me if you are thinking about buying a condo, and we can go through and we can find that out for you. Because I can tell you that most of the time you will not get financing and that you will probably have to pay cash for that building, with the exception of a couple of lenders here and there. Okay, what other tips do you need for buying a condo? Well, you need to look at something called the status certificate. That will tell you what's really happening with the finances in the building, the reserve fund study, and how likely it is in the future that you will have to pay more money to live in that building. It also gives you an idea of what the management is like in that building. Another tip, right now, you can put conditions on your offer. So a couple of years ago, if you were buying a condo, you would not be able to put any conditions on your offer. Well, you should always, but there was a situation where there were so many multiple bids going in that people were really going in with firm offers and no conditions. And now you can actually put on a financing clause, an inspection clause if you like, and of course your status certificate clause into your condo offer. Another tip, you can now search under 500,000. You wouldn't have been able to do that before. So if you click condos up to 500,000, you're going to find a whole bunch of stuff listed at 499,000. Now, the realtors are just sticking that in there at that price so that you will search for it. They don't really have the intention of selling it to you for under 499,000. But I can tell you from experience of the last couple months in the market when we're putting in our offers, we've been able to get down to that 499, 500 range on some of those condos. So you do have some room to work within your price right now. There's a huge amount of inventory on the market right now for condos, especially in the central downtown Toronto area, meaning that there's an absolute glut of condos in the market, which means that as a buyer, you have more choice. Now, I'll just caution you, sometimes if the seller doesn't want to sell, it won't really matter what your price is unless you can get it up to what they're looking for. However, because there are so many opportunities on the market, you can definitely take the time to find a condo that suits your budget. Now, make sure you get a good broker who knows what they are doing and can get you the best interest rates. Please don't only go to your bank unless you have a fantastic relationship with somebody personally in your bank. Otherwise, you're going to use a mortgage broker who is going to go out and search for you, and they're going to find you the best price. Down payment. Do you need 20% down? No. Do you need 10% down? Depends. If you're under 1.5 million, you can go in with less than 10, you can go with about 10% between 500,000 and 1.5 million dollars, and you can do 5% for that first 500. Now you're thinking, okay, what's that look like? Well, you can actually expand out the number so you can actually expand your amortization, which means the amount of time it takes you to pay back the mortgage over 30 years. Will these things increase your interest payments in the long term? Yes, if you live there for 30 years, which you are probably not going to do. So I want you to think about your payments in the short term over the next 5 years. Think about your life plan and think about how long you're actually planning and staying in that condo. And that will give you an idea as to whether or not it makes sense to go for a lower down payment and get yourself into the market. If you would like to talk to any of my colleagues who can help you determine whether or not you're in a position to buy, or if you just want to find out more information, let us know